already hitting it on Twitter about Islamophobia and spreading a lot of hate. Now, we all know in the black community that when one of us mess up, everybody messes up. To the white folks, it's the exact same for them.
Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So lovely.
So I came across this stitchy summary for you, and I thought to share where Americans are reacting to the fact that two or more national guards has actually been pew-pewed by an Afghanistan man. Is a 29-year-old Afghanistan man, and the street of the internet is not having it. So many people are raising their necks to use the opportunity to come for especially any person of color. Lovelace, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together because S is not having it. The S space is there are so many people out there now looking for opportunity to use to. Anyway, Lovelace, I'm just going to roll the clip. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section and let's dive into it.
Two National Guard members are in critical condition right now because Donald Trump refused to take the National Guard out of Washington, D.C. So what does Donald Trump decide to do? He decides to blame Joe Biden.
As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country.
Just listen to how Donald Trump sounds. He's slurring his word, and look at him. He's doing all of this stuff, sniffing and whatnot. The man is clearly up past his bedtime. He's too old to be doing this. Now watch. He tries to blame Joe Biden once again, like we are buying it.
This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that.
Now listen to how he just automatically ends this press conference and doesn't even answer any questions.
Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you know this is all propaganda. Because truth be told, the reason that we have these Afghanistan refugees here in the United States goes way back past Joe Biden. Yeah, it goes all the way back to George Bush. Operation Enduring Freedom. Yes, the Republicans. The Republicans got us in this mess right now that we're in. And Donald Trump, he's not taking any accountability. He was the one that negotiated the troop withdrawal in Afghanistan before Biden got into office. But you notice he didn't admit that and he went straight to bed. Good night, I'm out of here, America. What a disgrace this is for the American people in this country. Donald Trump, supposedly the commander-in-chief, failed to take accountability as president of the United States, and he's doing it at the expense of our men and women in uniform. This man is clearly unfit to be the president, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't see it, I don't know what's wrong with you, but the man's clearly unfit to be president.
Shooter has been identified as a 29-year-old Afghan man. Yes, Afghan. And you already know what's about to happen. MAGA, YT, far-right racists are about to go on a fucking spree. They're already hitting it on Twitter about Islamophobia and spreading a lot of hate. Now, we all know in the black community that when one of us mess up, everybody messes up. To the white folks, it's the exact same for them. For example, Dearborn, Michigan, they voted highly for Wigs R Us, and now they have far-right extremists in their town spreading hate, threatening to burn the Quran. Expect this to multiply times 100,000. And all I have to say is, as of right now, we only know this as an act of one man and one man only, not a whole community. So if you see this type of hate being spread, mark it, flag it, report it, and counter it. I may not agree with them during the election during Kamala Harris, but I don't want this to spread to the point where people are being attacked on the street. So the alleged shooter has been...
The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has recently threatened to court-martial Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona for his recent remarks telling troops that they have a right to disobey unlawful orders. Now, I'm saying this from personal experience. When I was in the United States Navy and I swore an oath at MEPS, the oath was to obey the orders of those appointed over us. However, we serve under the guidelines and the principles of the Constitution of the United States of America. If an order is given to any service member of any rank that is unlawful or goes against the principles of the Constitution of the United States of America, you are obligated to defy that order. Period, point blank. And the fact that our Secretary of War, and perhaps because he was once a stone cold alcoholic, maybe he missed a few key points in his oath, wants to court-martial a decorated veteran such as Mark Kelly is beyond asinine. And the fact that the president is co-signing this nonsense when he was a draft dodger is even more insane to me. These people need to get a grip.
2 National Guard members have been shot and killed in Washington, D.C. I have no other information about this situation other than that. And that's bad. And it kind of makes you wonder, had they not been there in the first place, would these service members have lost their lives in America? This, by the way, is exactly why they're there in the first place. The big reason, as a provocation into an inevitable conflict and further justification of militarizing our police against us. This was always going to be the outcome. And what is tragic is that the courts were working towards removing the National Guard from Washington, D.C. and other states so that this exact thing didn't happen. And if you're sitting here shaking your head thinking that I'm a fear-mongering asshole, I want you to pay very close attention to this administration's rapid response to this. See exactly what they say, see exactly what they threaten. You'll see that I'm right. Weak fascist governments look at tragedies like this as opportunities to further whittle away your rights. Don't believe me? Watch what they fucking do next. And failing that, they will engineer situations that will result in the outcomes that they want. like this.
2 National Guard were shot in Washington, D.C.
What happened?
Trump had National Guard deployed to Washington, D.C., even though their crime rate is the lowest it's ever been in years. However, Trump claimed crime is out of control and that he's there to stop it. However, a federal judge already ordered that Trump has to withdraw the troops from Washington, D.C. Making it illegal for him to deploy the troops, but he still did it anyway. And then just today, a gunman fired and shot 2 of them, and they're in critical condition in the hospital. And the governor said that they passed away. However, they said they're getting conflicting information. The craziest part is Washington, D.C.'s crime rate was already down 35% from last year, showing it was already decreasing. So there was no need for a National Guard. However, Trump...
But the crime was already decreasing. There was no reason for them to be there.
That's what the mayor, governor, and people of Washington, D.C. have been saying. However, Pete Hegseth has just sent 500 more National Guard to Washington, saying if they want violence, we will never back down. It's also alleged that the National Guard will now be given live ammunition. The suspect that did it was apparently arrested and is also in bad condition. However, authorities say they're still identifying him. National Guard backup.
So sending the National Guard is inciting violence, and then they send more National Guard. Does that mean they're trying to incite more violence?
You are ignorant. It's too late. Civil War 2024. Political violence is not an all-time war. It's only going to rise.
This is going to spark a whole big ass issue. Y'all peep this shit. So, 2 National Guards were shot today. 2 of them are critically injured, and they're being seen at the hospital right now, and we're gonna pray for their speedy recovery, and we hope that they make it out. But this is where the problem gonna spark in at. The suspect happens to be Afghan or Afghanian. I'm pretty sure that fucking don't even sound right, but whatever. Anyway, proceed. Ever since that has been sparked, the whole right wing just went the whole fuck off. Like, they started posting up a whole bunch of like Islamophobia shit and, you know, a whole bunch of shit blaming Islamic people, Muslim people, and everything like that. What we not gonna sit here and do is blame an entire race of fucking people or an entire religion of people all because of this one stupid ass bad apple. See, that's what y'all right-wing motherfuckers got a habit of doing. One person do something bad, y'all blame the entire nation. What do we be blaming y'all when y'all start shooting up all these schools and shit? Hell the fuck no, we don't. So with that being said, could y'all stop doing that, please? So with that being said, I'm glad that the suspect been caught. I hope justice is served, and we are praying for the guardsmen. But god damn, could y'all keep that goofy ass racist shit to yourselves?
Okay, it's time to talk about how martial law is the liberal version of the rapture. He is going to send in more National Guard members. Pete Hegseth has already said that. They're going to call up 500 more to send into DC. Earlier this week, a federal judge declared the existing deployments of the National Guard to DC unlawful, but gave the administration 21 days to appeal. So if Hegseth calls up more Guard within that 21 days, they're going to end up fighting it out in court. It'll just kind of be more of the same. And I'm not trying to pick on you. This is a really common response anytime the administration does anything that involves the military. And of course, it doesn't happen because it can't happen. The federal government can exercise a great deal of control over DC because the federal government controls DC by law. But they've already got a suspect in custody, and Kpe.Ple has already said that he will be tried for assaulting a federal officer. Martial law requires the suspension of civilian courts. Obviously, that's not happening. But do you remember that scene in Parks and Rec when the reasonableists, the cult, keep moving the date of the apocalypse back because it keeps not happening? And how actual evangelicals keep doing the same thing? The liberal version of that is martial law. The leftist version of that is revolution. I don't think it's a coincidence that so many Democrats or people who are left of center grew up evangelical, are ex-evangelical now, and have not really deconstructed that kind of apocalyptic rapture mentality. That the powers that be have an ultimate endgame that will destroy everything we know that is familiar. And in the same way that evangelicals use the rapture or the apocalypse as a way to kind of get out of having to do any real work to change any of the material conditions of the society that they live in, I think that People on the left use martial law in quite similar ways, especially during this administration. Because the reality is, fighting the National Guard deployments in these cities is going to happen in the court. It's going to be a long, drawn-out grind of bureaucracy, and it's going to be kind of boring, and there's not going to be a ton of adrenaline around it, or instant gratification, or short-term results. And we just kind of don't want to wait for that, right? So we sort of entertain ourselves almost with this idea that everything that he does is actually some secret plot to get around to martial law somehow. And that just never turns out to be the case. Think about how many times this has been the thing that everybody's screaming about on the internet. The executive order to do reports on the state of immigration at the border, the parade in DC, Charlie Kirk's shooting. It's just the thing people reach for, when the reality is much messier and will involve a lot more work to overcome than something even as simple and horrifyingly destructive as martial law would be. Now, the future is unknowable, as I say, and maybe we will descend into some unimaginable version of martial law that no one has seen or heard of or whatever. And also, maybe the rapture will come, or maybe the revolution will come. Maybe. But I think the more realistic thing that's going to happen is Pete Hegseth is going to call up some more National Guard. We might see more of this violence like we saw today, and it'll play out in the courts.
2 members of West Virginia's National Guard were shot and killed a little bit ago near the White House while Trump is away. Now Pete Hegseth is deploying 500 more troops to D.C. at Trump's specific request. He's doing this even though a judge already ruled that all troops need to be withdrawn from D.C. since the judge ruled that Trump is unlawfully taking control of the city's law enforcement, and he's violating a law prohibiting troops from performing domestic police work.
Seriously, lovelies, it is actually said that, this man has been instructed to take out these guards from the said place, but he has refused to do so. And now this Afghanistan man has decided to do the undoable, to do the unthinkable, And not only is he, and now they're blaming the past administration, like, the thing is that nobody, like, whatsoever thing that has happened is not even supposed to happen at all. Like, it's not supposed to happen. And I believe that this man is going to reap the fruit of his labor, because nobody has the right to actually take anyone's else. You can't take what you cannot create. Like, I don't even know how people sleep at night knowing fully well that they cannot even create life, but they are so ready to take it. But then again, there is always a cause for things that happens. But no, they wouldn't even blame the causes and all of that. They will still look for ways to blame people that have left the administration for the last couple of months. For the last couple of months. The thing is that with everything that is happening right about now, the society is not going to be the way at which it is. There have been so much tension, people getting unalived, and people raiding people, snatching people. So many people are so upset. People are going bonkers with their head, and because of this, most of them might resort to do what they are not even supposed to do. Seriously. I heard right about now that some Republicans are hiding, they're trying to resign because they're getting threats from left, right, and center. But instead of people to fix the root of the problems and the root cause of the problems, it's just to keep blaming. Like, everybody's to be blamed right about now with all of it, with the way at which things are. The world itself is just too much, lovelies. It's just too much. I just hope that those people, get the justice that they deserve. But assuming they adhere to the commands of the, they won't even be there to be unalived at first, right? But just look at it. The way at which most of these people do not even care about human anymore. Like, okay, some people have, like, these people probably are someone's sons, sons of father, uncle. You know, someone's grandchild. Oh God. But then again, instead of looking for how to avoid stuff like this, or to avoid something like this to occur again, no, is to put blames. No, they would rather look for ways to blame people rather than to fix the problem. No, let's just blame it on these people that the reason why things are turning out the way that's which it is. You know, I feel so bad for these people because probably they're just adhering to command, so they just have to stay where they are, and now they have been on live by some person that is frustrated with the way at which the system is being run. Like, everybody should just stay safe right anywhere you are. It's not even safe anywhere. Like, it's getting so hot everywhere. Not even only in the States. I think the world right about now, you just have to mind the people you have words of exchange. So many people are going through a lot. There is this particular stitch I saw. I actually wept just because of altercation. An 11-year-old, was unalive. I think this is between a Hispanic man and a white man. And one thing led to the other. They started having misunderstanding on a highway. And the boy was at the back of his stepfather's car. And before you know it, this pan-colored man just decided to pew and pew the innocent that was not even involved in the altercation. When would this pew control be a thing? Anyway, lovely, so just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not for no support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that, like, and I will see you lovely when I upload the next one.
Anyway, lovely, so now just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So please share this video, subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that, and also support my other channel, Verse, and I will see you lovely when I upload the next one.